The 440 hit me before the music did. It was a cold Tuesday in October. I was looking for a tuning fork. What I found was a geopolitical weapon. We live in a world out of tune. It's a subtle, vibrating dissonance in your chest. You feel it in every pop song. You hear it in every digital stream. It is the sound of a modern standard. But the frequency of our reality changed in 1939. The timing is almost theatrical. It's a shift that moved the very air we breathe. It's like a picture frame hung slightly crooked. You can't stop looking at the tilt. The official story goes like this. For centuries, music was a chaotic landscape of local standards. A cathedral in Italy might tune to one pitch. A concert hall in France would prefer another. It was a nightmare for instrument manufacturers and touring musicians. In the early 20th century, we needed a global pitch. The International Federation of the National Standardizing Associations met in London. They chose 440 Hz as the universal frequency for the note A. It was a triumph of industrial efficiency. It was progress, or so we were told by the history books. They say it was about harmony and trade. They say it was about making the world smaller. Let me be fair to the official narrative. Engineers argued that 440 Hz was easier to transmit over radio waves. They claimed the higher pitch sounded brighter on the early, low-fidelity equipment of the 1930s. I found this while researching something else entirely. I was looking into the acoustics of ancient stone circles. Then I saw the date, May 1939. That's not a coincidence. That's a red flag. Let's start with the numbers. Before the shift, many instruments were tuned to A equals 432 Hz. This frequency is often called Verdi's A. It's mathematically linked to the rotation of the Earth. It's a number that appears in the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. It's a frequency that seems to vibrate with the biology of the human heart. Speaking of the heart, 432 is a multiple of 8. It's a grounded organic pulse. But 440 is different. It's sharper. It's more brittle. The timeline isn't subtle. In 1917, the American Federation of Musicians endorsed 440 Hz. By 1936, the American Standards Association followed suit. But the real push happened in London, May 1939. This was months before the world exploded into total war. The delegates gathered while the shadows of the Third Reich grew long. There is a persistent trail of research suggesting the Rockefeller Foundation funded this push. Why would a massive oil and banking dynasty care about musical pitch? Institutional record gaps highlighted this clearly. The minutes of these meetings are curiously dry. They lack the heated debate you'd expect from such a fundamental change. Sitting in a filing cabinet at the British Standards Institution, the records of the 1939 London Conference show a strange unanimity. They seem to ignore the pleas of the traditionalists who warned that 440 Hz would destroy the human voice. But here's what matters. Frequency isn't just sound. It's information. Every cell in your body is a resonator. When you change the master frequency of a civilization, you change the mood of the population. 432 Hz is often described as a healing, peaceful vibration. 440 Hz is described as an irritant. It's a frequency that creates a subtle, subconscious state of anxiety. It drives the listener toward external focus rather than internal peace. Which brings me to the work of Dr. Leonard Horowitz. He argues that 440 Hz was chosen specifically for its ability to induce stress. The archive of social engineering suggests that a stressed population is a more compliant population. Maybe I'm seeing patterns where none exist, but the evidence of archival destruction is chilling. Many of the original masters of early 20th century recordings were repitched for modern re-releases. We are literally rewriting the sonic history of the human race. I spent weeks trying to understand the physics of this. If you take a plate of sand and vibrate it at 432 Hz, it forms beautiful, symmetrical patterns. It looks like a flower or a star. If you vibrate that same sand at 440 Hz, the pattern becomes jagged. It loses its symmetry. It becomes a chaotic, unstable mess. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That's not a musical choice. That's a biological restructuring. The pattern indicates a move toward the mechanical. We moved away from the biological pulse of the planet. We moved toward a rigid, manufactured frequency. Parallel examples exist in our lighting, switching from the full spectrum of the sun to the flickering blue of LEDs. It's in our food, moving from the complexity of soil to the simplicity of chemicals. The frequency shift was the first step. It was the silent architecture of a new world order. A world where everyone is slightly on edge. A world where the music never quite feels like a hug, but like a command. Maybe it was an accident of engineering. Maybe it was a byproduct of the radio age. Maybe it was a genuine attempt at global harmony. But the timing is almost theatrical. And so, we're left with the lingering questions. Who really sat in those rooms in 1939? Why did the push for 440 Hz coincide exactly with the birth of mass psychological warfare? I don't have answers, only patterns. I see a civilization that has been tuned to a pitch that doesn't belong to it. We're a symphony playing in a key that makes us sick. The part that keeps me up at night is the realization that we've forgotten what we lost. We think this is just how music sounds. We don't realize that our ancestors walked in a world that sang a different tune, a tune that was in harmony with the cosmos. Now, we are just a frequency in a machine. The truth is buried in plain sight, vibrating in every earbud on the planet. This is the story of how they took the heartbeat out of the song and replaced it with a clock. We aren't just listening to the music, we are being played by it. Would you like me to research specific archival documents from a 1939 London conference to add more precise citations to this script?